Howdy hi tankers and welcome back. Right, today we're going to be doing a quick review on one of the Founders Packs tanks, and today it's the turn of the T95E2 Tier 8 American Premium Medium tank. Been getting some bad press on the forums. Apparently people really dislike this tank. I'll agree with them in sort of. It's not a great tank, it's definitely not a great tank, but it's not crap. This is a consistent damage dealer, and some aspects of this tank are actually really good. I'm going to compare it to the other Tier 8 American Premium, the T96E4. This isn't as well armoured as the Super Pershing, but it does have better mobility. So if you don't want to play a medium tank that drives like a heavy tank, then this might be a better choice for you. That's if it ever comes back round on sale again, which it probably will, because they normally do with Founders Packs. And if you already have this tank and you're struggling, I'll try and help you out a little bit. Right, start with the armour like I normally do. So have a look. So your front plate is 95mm, that is not bad at all. It's not great, but it's not bad. Side armour is 71mm, so side scraping is a possibility, and I have tried it. I do slip up sometimes, and we'll talk about that more. And the rear armour is going to get penetrated by anything. But the turret, and this is my favourite part about this tank, the front of the turret is 178mm, side is 102, and the rear is quite low at 51, but 178 and 102, especially when it's that nicely shaped, you will bounce quite a lot of shots, and I've bounced things like T30s before. It is really good. And I've also tried face hugging this tank. The reason I've been trying to face hug, that lower plate is very steeply angled, it's very easy to penetrate, but the upper plate is very nicely angled, and if you're face hugging someone like this, if they're stupid and don't aim for the big weak spot there, all you're presenting them is nicely angled upper plate and it's nicely angled turret and a gun mantlet, and it does bounce really well. Right, so the side armour was 71. That is enough to side scrape against lower tiers. I have got away with it against equal tier tanks, things with low pen like T69s, other T95E2s, as long as they're not firing the premium ammunition, you can get away with it. The rear of the tank is very square and it's shockingly thin, so try not to expose that. The main weak point is, like I said, this MG hatch at the top, although the front of it is very nicely shaped. Can I get in on that? It is very nicely angled. Trouble is, if the rounds hit the bottom of that nicely angled bit, they're going to ricochet off and go straight through the top of the turret. But if they hit the top, there's a good chance they will ricochet off anyway. So it's not that bad of a weak spot. Plus, if you keep moving, it's going to be very hard to hit anyway. So overall, to start off with the armour, it's not bad at all. It's not great, but for a medium tank, especially a premium medium tank, the ability for this thing to bounce shots is pretty damn good. Right, so we've talked about the armour, let's have a little bit of a look at the other parts of this tank. Right, so engine power, 560 horsepower. That's not particularly great, but this tank isn't that heavy, and on hard ground you will get over 50 kilometers an hour pretty quickly, but on medium and soft ground, especially soft ground, you are going to struggle. Right, so the ground resistance is for this tank, which you can't see. Hard ground, the ground resistance is 0.9, medium is 1.1, the soft is 1.9, which means if you get this thing on soft ground, it struggles to turn, it struggles to accelerate, and you need to be really careful about where you choose to, say you want to circle strafe a tank. If you choose to do it on a patch of soft ground, it ain't gonna work, and you're just gonna find yourself getting chewed up. Yeah, so just be a bit careful about the ground resistances. The track traverse is 36 degrees a second, which isn't that bad at all, combined with 32 on the turret. 32 on the turret with that much armour is not bad at all really anyway. So it is quite manoeuvrable. And turrets again, you have 390 metres base view range for a premium tank. That's pretty damn good. And I chose not to take any optics on this tank, especially when I'm using a crew from a better tank anyway, with lots of crew skills. I've not bothered with any optics in my equipment, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Right, the gun, which is probably the biggest letdown on this tank, and probably is why a lot of people have been complaining. The rate of fire is good, 8 rounds a minute. That's exactly the same as the STA1. But what isn't the same is the penetration with standard rounds. It's only 173mm. That is IS quality penetration. It's not great at all, so you need to be very, very good with your aim. If you're going to use standard rounds, you can get away with it, but you need to be very confident that you can hit the weak spots. Standard alpha damage is 240. That's pretty damn good for a tier 8 medium. But this tank does carry heat ammunition. I'm sure it's heat. Now let me check before I tell you the wrong thing. Yeah, it does carry heat. And penetration is 250mm, and that is really, really good. Same alpha damage. And another thing that doesn't talk about here is the shell speed. With standard AP ammo, the shell speed's pretty good, but with the heat ammunition, it is a lot faster. So with the heat ammunition, you have better pen, you're going to be more accurate because the shell gets there quicker, and you don't need to lead the target as much. But remember that if you're switching ammo types, you don't need to lead as much with the heat ammunition. This is something I'm trying to work on myself, is when I switch ammo types, I'm trying to readjust my aim, and that's something I really need to work on. Anyway, aiming time is 2.29 and accuracy is 0.36. They're both acceptable stats. They are pretty damn good. And that is this tank, it down to a T basically, and that is it. It's not great, but it's definitely not a poor tank. Some stuff it does better than others, like the turret. Turret armor is really good. Some stuff it doesn't do as good as others, like the ground resistances. This thing is not as manoeuvrable as some other tier 8 mediums on soft and medium ground, but it's a bit of give and take. Also, what the stats don't tell you about this tank, it has 9 degrees of gun depression. That is really, really good. So the combination of the turret armor and 9 degrees of gun depression, if you're confident on ridge lines, this thing can be an absolute weapon. And that's it. Right, yeah, so I'd said about equipment. Let's have a look what I'm running. I've got vents and rammer to bring up the DPM, because although it is 8 rounds a minute, it does feel quite slow. I don't know why, so I've added both of those to bring that up. And third piece of equipment, because it's got 390 meters base view range, I didn't go for optics. I went for vert stabs, just to help with my snapshotting ability. And that is it really. Supplies, healthy stock of standard rounds. I've carried 14 heat rounds. This tank isn't quite as ammo limited as some of the other tanks. So I've got 46 standard, 14 heat, and just a couple of HE rounds, which I probably never use anyway, but they're there if I need to. And that's it basically. Like I said, it's not great, but it's not rubbish. So let's have a little bit of a look at some gameplay and see how it works out. Right, so here we go. I picked this replay because it really does highlight some of the good points about this tank. Although some of my gameplay in this clip is a little bit shocking, to say the least. Well, I almost, well, I won't spoil it. Anyway, mobility. You wouldn't be doing this on a Super Pershing. We are zooming off pretty much, almost at the top speed. But even like now, I was on the path and we were going pretty quick, and then we move on to the softer snow. You can just tell when you're on hard or medium or soft terrain in this thing, because you can just tell by how it moves and the speed it moves at. As soon as you hit medium and definitely soft ground, it really does struggle. But never mind, I can put up with that. Right, so got to this position. Nobody else has got here yet. I'm going to wait for the team. Don't want to whiz off, end up getting into a bit of a fist fight with 3 or 4 tanks and being on my own. So I'm just hanging around here for the minute. Looks like they want to go for it, so I'm going to follow them. Don't know what I was doing there. Don't know how to turn notifications off on Xbox One yet. I'll have to look into it. Right, so our guys have spotted a couple of targets. That's a, is that a T150? It's a strong tank that, even standard rounds, straight through his side armour. It's quite, or maybe a little bit over angled, but even so, 173mm of pen didn't let us down there. So I'm a bit tougher now, Tiger 2. Making use of the mobility again. Although, this happens. I don't know if that's a bit of a dirt with the scenery or just the ground resistance on that hill just made it impossible for me to get off quickly. So it took me a while to get out.
Ready to fire on target. Let's find another target. Enemy detected.
I can see the view range there, a decent view range. I've picked up some targets the other guys hadn't spotted, even though I was behind them there.
Target released.
Tiger, he's over-angled. He shoots at us and only hits the track. He's not upgraded, so he pretty much has no hope of penetrating the T95E2. Got some nice assist points there. That's the benefit of going for a tracking shot with your first shot. Even if you get no more shots into a target, anybody who hits him while you detract them, you pick up quite a lot of points. So it's another thing you should be looking at doing. There you go. Angled Tiger 2, went straight for his side armour. I've switched to heat now. This is my first mistake in this game. I don't know if I did it by accident or if I did it on purpose. I really can't remember. Really didn't need to use them now. Should have saved them for later on in the game. Bounce a shot there from the T32. If he's using standard rounds at that sort of range, unless he clips that lower plate, he's not going to pen. The only trouble with that is though that we're kind of in the same situation the other way. T32 is quite a strong tank. 173mm of pen, you're going to have to look for his lower plate to get a penetration. But stupidly, I'm still using heat. Absolutely no idea why. Right, so I'm on my own round here now. Things are starting to look a bit bad. We were winning on numbers. I think we still are by 1, but the enemy have some strong tanks left and they've got a lot of health. Another mistake I made here, I should have been more aggressive.
Ready to fire. Target released.
Right, so we're facing off against this enemy T95E2. I took a hit from that T32 from the distance there. As he comes up, the first thing he exposes is the weak spot. If my aim was better, we'd have been in a stronger position there. So I'm trying to side-scrape this rock. I think I bounced the first one, I didn't bounce that one. See, this is when you need your heat ammunition in this tank. I was able to put a round straight through the side of his turret there. Couldn't have done that with standard rounds. But unfortunately, because I forgot to... I don't know if I switched to heat by accident, or I forgot to... if I just wanted to use one round and then switch back. Unfortunately, I'm almost out. So facing us against this other T95E2, I think we were both pretty much full health when we started. So, and we're both quite low health now, so it's kind of been give one, take one sort of situation. I wasn't able to better this guy. But I do have a friend that's snuck up behind him and put a nice big shot into him. Takes his attention off me just for a minute. And between the two of us, we were able to finish him off, getting out of that quite strong position in that hole there. So well played to you, that guy in the IS. Unfortunately, he's right out in the open there. A little bit out of position. Right, so there's the three of us left against a T32, a T69 and a Ferdinand. I think it's me, an IS and another T95E2. The enemy definitely have the better tanks.
That one didn't go through.
There you go. Although this thing's quite accurate at that sort of range, I couldn't guarantee a hit on the side armor. Hit his gun mount and bounced straight off, and that was quite. I really needed that shot to hit. There we go. The other T95E2 has gone down, so it's just me and this IS left. I'm on low health. I should have gone and capped. I don't often cap or often think about capping, but in this situation, where's myself and a tier 7 heavy tank versus 3 tier 8s, and one of them's a Ferdinand, I really should have gone and capped. Well, a lot earlier than I attempted to anyway. We finally get a hit with that T69. IS just dead, so it's just me. If I'd have capped maybe a minute earlier, I may have been able to get the capping before this lot showed up. And now it's just me versus 3 tier 8s. We've got a T32 coming in. Here he is, we spot him, get one into him. Unfortunately he tracks us, and I've already used my repair kit, so I'm now just sat here, but I have 9 degrees of gun depression. Even when he's that close, I can aim for his lower plate. So we bounce the first shot, don't bounce the second shot. Going for his lower plate again because I have great gun depression. Now I'm face hugging. He's not going for the weak spot and he bounces. And we finish him off. For me to have any chance here, they're going to have to come one by one, which they seem to be doing at the minute. So get the ambush shot off on the T69. Manages to track me. This could be the end of it. Ferdinand pops up on the map. Is he there? Yeah, I'm running away. T69 has expended his ammo. Oh, and I miss the auto aim. And I get greedy. This guy's reloading. I get greedy. I go to finish him off. It gives the Ferdinand time to come up behind me and finish me off. If I'd have either aimed that previous shot better and took him down, or just realised in my head that he was going for a reload, I could have left the T69 there and turned around, finished off the Ferdinand and then gone back to the T69. Probably would have had time left over in the T69's reload and I could have pulled off the win there. But the reason I wanted to show you this clip, there was a lot of bounces going on there and it showed you just why the T95E2 is actually a pretty good tank. Bounced over 2,000 damage there, plus the 1,500 I took. That's nearly 4,000 in total. And we managed nearly 4,000 damage and 3 kills. So it's not a great tank, but it's not a crap tank like people are saying on the forums. Right, there we go guys, quick review of the T95E2. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it helps you out a little bit. And I will catch you next time. See you later.